so this is Unit 2, Day 2, Section 3.3, multiplying, or solving multi-step equations. So our learning targets are I can solve a linear equation, and the second one has more to do with what we're going to do on Thursday, but I can justify the reasonableness of a solution and explain the steps using proper math vocabulary. Alright, so our first example says solve an equation by combining like terms. Alright, so like terms are things like 7x, negative 3x, 4x. Alright, so they all have x's, so I'm able to combine them. So these would all be like terms. Alright, something that wouldn't be a like term would be something like an x squared. Alright, that would be no good. Alright, also something like 7x and a negative 3y. Those are not like terms because one is x's, one is y's. So in order for it to be like terms, it has to have the exact same variable and to the same power, meaning it can't be squared and third or cubed. Those would be different. Alright, so when I look at this first example, I want to combine my like terms. So I'm going to underline my like terms and make sure that you include that sign in front of the terms. Okay, and we never want to combine like terms on opposite sides of the equal sign. Alright, so 8x minus 3x is 5x minus 10 equals 20. Okay, so now I want to get this x by itself. So sometimes I like to box it off so I know what I need to do. And I want to start with my addition or subtraction. So I need to get it by itself, so I got to get rid of this negative 10x. So to get rid of it, I'm going to add 10x to add 10 to both sides. Okay, so those are going to cancel, and I'm left with 5x equals 30. Alright, now I have 5 times x. So in order to undo that multiplication, I need to divide on both sides by 5. So x equals 6. Okay, you guys can try B and C and make sure that you answer the question that's going to pop up here for B. Okay, and cross off that B. We don't need that there. Alright, so then let's look at example 2. It says solve an equation using the distributive property. Alright, so the distributive property means if I have something outside of parentheses, something like that, means I can multiply this 3 to both terms inside. Alright, so 3 times x is 3x. 3 times positive 2 is 6. Okay, so if I want to apply that here, I'm going to first make sure I get rid of this distributive property. Alright, so I'm going to rewrite 7x, and then I'm going to multiply 2 by both terms inside. And I like to draw this on top just so I remember that it goes to both. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 6 is 12. Alright, now I'm going to find my like terms. So I have 7x and I have 2x. And notice how, again, I included that sign in front of it. So 7x plus 2x is 9x plus 12 equals 39. Okay, and now I want to undo this addition again. So to undo addition, I do the inverse, which is subtraction, to both sides. And if I draw my line down the middle, it just helps remember to do one thing on one side I have to do to the other. So then those cancel, and I'm left with 9x equals 27. Okay, so now I'm going to divide by 9 on both sides. So x equals 3, and there's my final answer. Alright, and remember, whenever it says solve, that means I should have x equals something. Alright? Alright, I'm going to give you guys a hand with this first one too, because there's one more thing that I want to include here. So again, the first thing I want to do is this distributive property. Alright, but the key here is to remember that I include that sign. So I don't just distribute the 7, I distribute a negative 7. Okay, so 4x, negative 7 times x is negative 7x. And then this is negative 7, and I include that. So negative 7 times negative 2 is positive 14. Okay, so now I'm going to find my like terms. Those are negative 3x plus 14 equals 26. Alright, again, I need to get rid of this addition because I want to get this x by itself. So the first thing I want to do is move any addition over. So since it's plus 14, I'm going to subtract 14 on both sides. I get negative 3x equals 21. Did I screw something up? 26 minus 14. this should be 12, right? 12. So now I divide by -3, and I get x equals -4. Okay, so make sure you guys try C, and make sure you include your answer in the question that's going to pop up. Okay. Alright, so the last part has to do with if I have a fraction in front, do I want to use the distributive property? So you could use it, alright, meaning I could take this 3/2 here and distribute it to both terms inside. Alright, but sometimes it's just easier to multiply by the reciprocal and get rid of the fractions. Alright, so like I said, I could distribute this, and if I distribute it, I would get 3 times 9 over 2x plus 3 times 5 over 2 equals -24. Alright, but that's, now I'm dealing with all those fractions that I don't want to deal with. Alright, and that's a lot more work. So I don't want to do that. What I want to do is multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of a fraction, remember, is when I flip it over. Alright, so I want to take 2/3 times that side and 2/3 times that side. Okay, because remember, if I multiply something by the reciprocal, okay, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 2 is 6, which equals 1. Alright, so what that allows me to do is just cross that off. So the only thing I'm left with over here is 3x plus 5 equals -24 times 2 is -48 divided by 3. And -48 divided by 3 should be -16. Okay, so now I've just made this a little easier to solve than dealing with all these fractions here. Okay, so now I could subtract 5. I get -21 equals 3x. And then divide each side by 3. Okay, so let's look at B also. Alright, so I have 3/5 there. So if I want to multiply by the reciprocal, I multiply by 5/3. And multiply by 5/3. So what that does over here is it lets me just cross both of these out. And I'm left with 2x minus 4 equals, and if I wanted to do this in my calculator, I would do 18 times 5, which is 90, divided by 3, which is 30. Okay, and you can just plug that into your calculator if you need to as well. Alright, so then I'm going to add 4, which are going to cancel, and I'm left with 2x equals 34. And I'm going to divide each side by 2, so x equals 17. Okay, make sure you try these last two and answer the questions that come with them, and then make sure you fill out this information down at the end. So after you're watching this video, you can you complete the distributive property? Can you combine like terms and solve a problem? After watching the video, I still don't know how to. Maybe you don't know how to clear the fraction still. Write that there so that we know what we need to focus on in class. And also, how are you going to help yourself here? Alright guys, thanks.